Hi folks, this is Akbar Soleimani and this presentation was prepared as a part of HAP 725 on statistical process improvement taught by Professor Alimi at George Mason University Department of Health Administration and Policy. In this presentation, I want to talk about benchmarking clinicians and specifically question number 2 in the assignment. But what is question number 2? Question number 2 asks, the following data report patients with 10 diagnostic related groups and 3 HCC indices cared by a clinician and his peer group. Determine if the clinician is more efficient than his peer group. In the first step, in the Python, we have to import libraries, different libraries, and also our data. For example, in this question, we need two libraries, pandas and numpy, and also with these syntaxes, which you can see, we have to import our data. In the second step, we have to binarize the column related to the clinician and peers with 0 and 1. And also we have to add one column for each and totally two columns to our data. And at the end, we have to change the type of data from the object to the float. In this step, after binarizing, we need two tables, one related to clinicians and the other one related to peers. Now I wanted to calculate the pattern of care for clinicians. So I wanted to see how many patients or ID we have with different DRG and HCC in clinician group at the same time. For example, in the HCC1 and DRG1, we have two patients in clinician group. In this slide also, I wanted to see in clinician group with different HCC and DRG, how many days is length of stay. For example, with HCC1 and DRG1, we have just 1 day length of stay. In same way, we calculate the pattern of care for peers. So first, I have to find the number of patients in different DRG and HCC at the same time. Also, in this slide, you can see how you can find the length of stay in different HCC and DRG in peer group. Now we have to merge the two tables which we made it for clinician group. Also, for peer group, we have to merge the two tables which we made it in previous slides. Now, we wanted to make one table with all data which we have from clinician and peer group. And then we have to calculate total number of patients for clinician and peer group. In clinician group, we have totally 81 patients, and in peer group, we have 70 patients. Now we need to calculate the probability of each group, clinician group and peer group. So you have to divide the number of patients in different categories of DRG and HCC by the total number of clinician group patients, which is 81. In this step, we have to calculate length of stay for each probability in clinician group. So we have to multiply length of stay for each combination of DRG and HCC by the probability of that combination. Like previous slide, again we have to calculate the length of stay for each combination for peer group. In reporting the outcomes of peer group on clinicians' patients, A problem arises when the peer group does not see patients seen by the clinician. To compensate the peer group's outcomes for these situations are constructed using synthetic cases. These synthetic cases replace missing cases and allow all clinicians' patients to have at least one match among peer group's patients. In this slide, we have to calculate the overlap between peer and clinician cases, and the answer is 81.48. It means that 81% of peer cases can match with clinician cases. Now we wanted to merge the last table which we made it in terms of HCC with the original data which peer column is equal to 1. Here also we wanted to merge two tables in terms of DRG and peer which is equal to 1. In this slide, we wanted to list the length of stay values for peer group based on HCC which is null. Here also we wanted to list the length of stay values for peer group, but here based on DRG which is null. In this slide, we have to calculate some averages. For example, the average of length of stay in terms of HCC, which is equal to 2.93. And also we have to calculate the mean of the length of stay in terms of DRG, and it's equal to 3.84. And also we have to calculate the average of length of stay for peer group. It's equal to 3.32, and we have to calculate the average for entire set, which is equal to 3.39. And here we wanted to replace all null values for length of stay for peer group with 0. Now we can switch the probabilities of peer group with probabilities with clinicians group. And now with this new probability for peer group, we can calculate the new length of stay for peer group. Finally, we can calculate the length of stay in peer group and in clinician group, which is 2.96 and 3.04 for peer group. It shows that length of stay in peer group is greater than length of stay in clinician group. And if you want to calculate how much the length of stay in clinician group are more efficient than peer group, you can use these syntaxes. Thank you for your attention.